the longest relationship and most important relationship you're gonna have with life is food. Food could be a slow, low poison, or it could be the medicine that you need that heals you and loves you.
So, talking about food mapping, I think it's only right to start talking about your own personal journey with food. And I know that you have some food trauma yourself in your history.
Yeah, I think interestingly, I've done other videos about food mapping and just the role of food in autoimmunity. And something that I find universally true for everyone with autoimmunity is that there is trauma around food. And I am going to go out there and say that the longest, most important relationship we have in our lives is with food. But yet, there's so many pieces of people's journey with our autoimmunity and our health that traumatizes us around food and has a really lasting impact. And I would say that we field at least, 100 to 200 phone calls every month from people who are interested in learning more about our program, and we learn about them. And I would say that the one of the most common obstacles that we hear is I am traumatized. I can't even look at food. I can't believe I have to eat. If I never have to eat again, I would feel that would solve all my problems. And it could be something as simple as not simple, but it can be just not being able to eat food, or the fact when they eat food, they have to go to bathrooms, or they have to plan their life around bathrooms, or it can be they have physical problems with literally swallowing food, or they have symptoms like nausea or vomiting that every time they eat, their body physically is revolting against the food. So for me, when I look at my story around food, is that I had no idea as an MD, and I've been trained in one of the top medical schools in the country, UCLA,
Mhm.
and I had no idea in all my training as a physician. I mean, this is 4 years of medical school, 3 years of residency. I was a 10-year physician before I really realized how sick I really was. So you're talking about like 18 years plus of training around this. And over all of that time, I had less than half an hour of training around nutrition and food and the impact on food on our health. And I certainly had no idea that it had any link with autoimmunity. I was talking about the chronic constipation both me and my sister had, and my mom had while I was growing up. We, Chinese culturally wise, my mom would make food and we had to finish all the food on the table. And that was no choice. My mom was just like, finish it. And then after we finished all the food, she'd sit there and peel fruit for like
Mhm.
an hour or two while we talked and talked as a family and hung out. But literally, we ate so much that I hurt. My
Mm.
stomach hurt from eating. And I would be sometimes I'd be upset or mad at my mom, and I'd be just like, can you stop telling me to eat more food?
Yep.
Many of us grew up culturally where we were expected to eat beyond our fill, or we were very uncomfortable with the amount of food we ate, and we were told to eat more. We had to.
And your
And
family expected it because that's how they show their love too.
that is how my mom showed her love, and that's how I show my love. That's something I really learned and treasure from my mom. But food was very uncomfortable in my stomach. I know now that people with autoimmunity and families with autoimmunity, 90% of us have digestive problems. We were not digesting our food. I was not digesting my food. So therefore, not only was I forced to eat a huge amount.
Yeah. Showing
That's
your
me
love.
making my paella. That's
Delicious
awesome.
looking.
This is how I show my love, right? But I was forced to eat not just some of that, but all of that growing up, and then eat several hours of fruit, and realizing 90% of people with autoimmunity have digestive issue. Not knowing that at the time, I was just miserable with bloating, pain, gas after every meal since my childhood. And yet I was told I needed to eat more and more and more and more. So that was a traumatic experience growing up, was just I did not feel good with eating. And how many of you in the audience have recalled that even as a child, not feeling comfortable with eating food?
It's
But even culturally growing up as a child, always feeling discomfort when you eat really screws with your head. And then once I realized I had autoimmunity, even then, I mean, I was still struggling because I went gluten free. And that's really important for anybody with, when you research it, it's really important to go gluten free. But there were so many pieces underneath that I didn't understand at the time. And I remember in the midst of like my autoimmunity, I lost about 20 pounds. I
Mm.
was in a lot of pain, and my pain really was my wrist and my hand, and that picture of that woman looked like I was healthy, but I lost 20 pounds at that time. I was depressed as hell. My marriage was falling apart. I was tired. I was about ready to be fired from my job.
It shows you how invisible all of this is and the struggle that so many with autoimmune illness are dealing with because their friends and family, it's hard to understand because you look great there from an outsider's perspective. You look happy and you look well, but you're telling us no way. Underneath it all, you were very sick, very unhappy, and just not feeling like yourself.
Yeah, this is right before I was fired from my job about 2 months later. And here's the thing, in the middle of all this, remember, cooking is how I showed my love to my kids and my family. And I recall there was a day when I was in the midst of feeling my worst and I'm trying to make a gluten-free pie.
Mm.
And I remember taking that flour, the gluten-free flour to roll a crust. And you know how sometimes it's hard to work gluten-free flour and how hard it is to roll. And my pain is in my wrists, in my elbows, in my neck, and I'm trying to roll out this pie dough with this marble roller, and I couldn't do it. I
Mm.
couldn't do it. It was like the hardest piece of crapola. And I was just so upset. Like, here's the one thing that's my identity of how I show my love. I can't even roll a freaking pie dough for my family. And I literally took that marble roller and I just threw it in the sink. I left and I just like literally just threw the board into the sink and I ran out of my house and I ran in the rain crying and bawling for 2 hours.
Mm.
And it was like, what is the point? If I can't even cook or show my love to my children or nourish my children, and I'm sitting here with pain, I felt like I was dying. You literally at that point are like, life isn't even worth living. What's the point of this?
Mm. Gosh, I'm so
So
yeah.
losing your love of food, and guys, I am a foodie. I love food so much that I am a foodie. I could sit here and I could cook all day. I mean, I'm teaching people how to cook on these videos all the time. This is my life's work is my love of food is connected and this is also how I show my love and this is also how I teach. And so to not be able to do that was freaking devastating. And if this person is not eating and this person is not cooking, life is not worth living. And that's the level of trauma that I really felt. And the impact that food had on me. So I knew the only way that could recover was how am I going to get accurate data? How do I know what the
Mhm.
impact of food is on me? And then how can I fall back in love with food again so I can not just love and nourish myself, but for others? Remember, the longest relationship and most important relationship you're going to have with life is food. Food could be a slow, low poison, or it could be the medicine that you need that heals you and loves you. How do you turn that relationship around when it's that bad?
And that's
That's what I had to figure out. The only way that to me that you can get past food trauma and really turn food into something you love and to have you love food and food loves you is to do the mindset work that we're talking about here, which is that you get real actionable data, you get mentorship, education, and support, not just from me, but from the community people in the program. And you also have mindset work to change your relationship with food. That's what it's going to take to actually build a new relationship and get these results. There is a science around this, there is a system around this, and there's a clear path around this, and sure as hell, freaking hundreds of people with results around this. And so the most important decision you can make is start a chat with our team. Okay. Learn more. Join our Facebook group. Watch some more videos about food mapping, my story. Watch some testimonial case studies. Again, it's a series of decision and actions that's going to change the difference from a sick, sad person to someone who has the power, the authority, and the confidence to turn this around. And that can absolutely be you.